Good morning, all. My name is Karan. I'm from techsavvy Engineers. Today, I'm showing you a presentation regarding to industrial heavy equipment. So, when we talk about industrial heavy equipment, these are those sectors which design big machines. First, as you can see over here on the screen, we talk about cranes, we talk about stone crushers, we talk about equipment who carry or move component from one place to another. So, when we talk about this industry, we talk about some challenges. So oftentimes we need to be able to design a member such as frame, booms, yokes. So we need to put them into a large assembly, and it is a very much hectic task because when you talk about large assembly, it's not about size. Sometimes the large assembly also consists of lots of components. Say for example, we take example of a crane. So crane consists lots of components, not only hydraulic jack, hydraulic systems. It will talk about small nuts, bolts, fasteners, small stiffeners, metals. There are lots of things inside a crane. So when we do all these types of work, we need to anticipate mass of the assembly, anticipate the BOM of the entire assembly, anticipate of the kinematic and the dynamic of the assembly. So all these things we have to sometime face. So in SolidWorks 2019, and when we talk about SolidWorks 2015 till 19, we have lots of things that have that SolidWorks updated inside it, and which will help all these users or all these types of industries which are dealing with a large component or which are dealing with the large big assemblies to help them to handle their assembly far more easy. So when we talk about this, we also need to understand this small area. So when we talk about great products, say if we buy something or if you are into a very much big industry, when we need to design a big product, it should be under a certain area. So in certain area, we will talk about say 46% of a product fails during the launch, even though 75% don't meet their life goals, and 85% of the product are failure because of structure. And in the only product that completes its 2 year is a successful product. So when we talk about your industry, a heavy engineering industry, we need to understand that our product should have to complete its certain amount of life to ensure that market में उसकी एक अपनी value बनी है. So we need to understand all this area. So when we need to understand all this area, there are lots of other things that comes into a system. So moving on further, so in SolidWorks, how we will do all these things. So this is my roadmap. So today I'll be covering a few areas inside this roadmap. So today I'll be covering performance, attention to details, design ecosystems, and the innovation that we do by combining all these things. So let us start with performance. So when we talk about performance, so most of the time क्या होता है कि हम कोई एक assembly design करते हैं और उस assembly को जैसे हम डिजाइन करते हैं, उसको डिजाइन करने के बाद हमारे को ये फील होता है कि assembly हमारी स्लो होने लग गई है, हमारे कंपोनेंट खुलने में टाइम लगने लग गया. जैसे जैसे असेंबली ग्रो करती है, आप उसमें कंपोनेंट्स ऐड करते हो, वो और टाइम लगने लग जाती है. सो इससे क्या होता है, इससे आपका टाइम बहुत ज्यादा लैग करने लगता है. सो इन SolidWorks 2019 देयर इज अ न्यू concept that we have launched, which is separated from your large assembly mode. So in previous version release हमारे पास एक large assembly mode होता है जिसके अंदर एक ऑप्शन होता है कि जिसके अंदर आप जो असेंबली को जब आप लोड करते हैं large assembly mode के अंदर, तो आपके सारे कंपोनेंट लाइट वेट कर देता है जिससे आपकी असेंबली इजीली अपलोड हो सके. Now in 2019 we have a LDR. So in LDR we can do lots of different type of things inside LDR. So in LDR we will not only we will able to handle assembly far more easily, but it will help us to do lots of other work. If we need to mate any component, if we need to update any component, if we need to remove or add any component, so all these things is now easily being handled inside Dutch Design DB mode. So let us move further to understand what is Dutch Design DB.
And over the years, SolidWorks has worked hard to optimize view manipulations on the screen. For instance, large assembly mode will disable mono edges, shadows, real view, and more. The level of detail is set to fast, which removes small components during view changes. These optimizations make view manipulation fast, but come at the expense of visual appeal. When better visual quality is desired, large assembly mode can be disabled, but graphics performance is sacrificed. SolidWorks 2019 changes the game. View manipulations are lightning fast, even with large assembly mode turned off. In a side-by-side comparison, you can clearly see the improvement. Dynamic view operations such as zoom, pan, and rotate are dramatically faster. Users see less dropped frames or that chunkiness when rotating large models. More of the graphics calculations are now done on the graphics card, providing much better performance. In fact, SOLIDWORKS now scales with graphics card hardware, allowing users to further accelerate dynamic performance with higher-end graphics cards. The new Graphics Performance Boost in SOLIDWORKS 2019 provides a better user experience when working with large assemblies.
So, this is the LDR. So, this LDR helps you to quickly open your assembly, and inside that assembly, you can do lots of other work. So, let us now go deep inside the system to understand what more LDR can do. But inside this design review mode, what more things you can do inside it. So, the capabilities of the LDR is assembly opens in a second, work with the data needed, new option for the workflows, and capability beyond reviewing. So this is a separate option that we have added in 2019, helps you to open very much big assembly in a fraction of a second. So now let us understand what is LDR and what more we can do inside LDR rather than just to open.
Large Design Review is a capability that has been available in SOLIDWORKS for many years and allows users to open very large assemblies lightning fast, giving you the ability to quickly interrogate a model or conduct design reviews. In Large Design Review, users have access to the Feature Manager, and it provides super fast view manipulation to rapidly visualize and move around your assembly. The ability to measure distances, cut cross sections, hide and show components, and do walkthroughs are also valuable tools to interrogate a large assembly. In SOLIDWORKS 2019, Large Design Review has been enhanced to include assembly editing capabilities. Reference geometry, like planes and axes, are accessible, as well as mates, where changes can be made to how a component is assembled. Sketches can be shown or hidden, and can be referenced for adding mates or for visual clarity. If you're looking to delete a few components that may not be needed, this can be done in the new edit mode. New components can be added to your design, just as you would in a fully resolved assembly, and these new items can be placed and mated into their proper positions. Mating is done just like you would in lightweight or resolved mode, including the use of the Quick Mate toolbar. Components that have been prepared to use magnetic mates can be assembled as well and snapped into position, saving a great deal of time when doing large facility layouts. Changing configurations is another commonly used workflow, and this capability is also available with the enhanced Large Design Review mode. If components were hidden along the way, you can use the familiar Show Hidden Components tool to restore their visibility. And when you're finished making your changes, the assembly can be saved so that the next time it is opened in resolved or lightweight mode, you can be assured that all of your work has been retained. With these enhanced capabilities in SOLIDWORKS 2019, users will be able to take advantage of the excellent performance of Large Design Review to rapidly make changes to their assemblies.
So as you can see now, LDR के अंदर हम कितनी चीजें कर सकते हैं. Now when we talk about that our large assembly mode, all these things are not possible. Now using LDR, we can edit all these things inside assembly. So we can not only edit it, we can delete move component, we can delete edit made, we can change configuration, save edit the LDR assembly. So what it will do is it will rapidly जो हमारी assembly की जो design opening and closing है वो fast कर देती है, हमारी assembly की handling बहुत ज़्यादा fast कर देती है. So this is one of very much new functionality that we have added in 2019, which will help a large assembly to open in a fraction of few seconds. Let's move further now. So when we talk about assembly, so there are lots of other things that we see inside assembly. Say for example, let's talk about toolbox, or say let's talk about mates. So कभी-कभी क्या होता है कि आप अपना कुछ एक मेट अप्लाई करते हैं assembly के अंदर, जिसके कारण कुछ मेट्स आपके फेल कर जाते हैं. So if those mates are failing, so आपको फिर क्या करना पड़ता है कि आपको पर्टिकुलर उस मेट बाय मेट में जाना पड़ता है और उस मेट बाय मेट में जाके आपको उसे सही करना पड़ता है. So generally पहले क्या होता है कि अगर कोई भी मेट आपके फेल होते हैं तो आप उसको ग्रुप नहीं कर सकते हो. Till 2018 this is a main problem. Now in 2019 you can group all your mates. Not only that, now you can अगर हम किसी चीज को suppose मुझे किसी को कोई डेटा सेंड करना है with respect to explode views, so explode views के अंदर कभी-कभी क्या होता है कि अगर आपने एक बार एक व्यू क्रिएट कर दिया और उस व्यू क्रिएट को करने के बाद आपको उसमें कुछ एडिटिंग करनी है, कुछ चेंजेस करने हैं, तो आप वो चेंज नहीं कर पाते थे। नाउ सॉलिडवर्क्स नई फंक्शनैलिटीज के अंदर इन 2019 अब आप ये सारी चीजें कर सकते हो। सो सपोज अगर आपने कोई एक्सप्लोडेड व्यू बनाया और आपको उस व्यू के अंदर कोई एक स्टेप आप मिस कर गए हो, तो पुराने टाइम में आपको उस पूरे के पूरे स्टेप को डिलीट करना पड़ता था। नए में आप उस स्टेप को डिलीट नहीं करेंगे, आप सिंपली उस स्टेप को वहीं से सही कर सकते हैं। सो इन आवर पार्ट असेंबली वी कैन मूव आवर हिस्ट्री कर्सर, वैसे ही हम ये सेम चीज एक्सप्लोडेड व्यू के अंदर भी कर सकते हैं। So let us move further so we can understand it a bit more. So
assemblies, it can be easy to accumulate lots of mates, and with the new option to group mates in SOLIDWORKS 2019, users will find it much easier to navigate the mate folder. Now you can group mates by status or separate fasteners. When grouped by status, mates are separated into folders. This assembly has 100 solved mates. 2 mates are missing a reference and are grouped in the errors folder. Mates can be edited as usual. In this case, a new reference can be selected, and SOLIDWORKS takes care of repairing other mates with the same missing reference. Another folder contains mates that have errors due to overdefinition. Suppressing these 2 mates will eliminate the error and place them in their own folder. Another folder lists mates that reference missing components. And finally, there's a folder for inactive mates that reference fixed components. As you can see, the new Group Mates option makes it much easier to keep your assemblies organized. Many users prefer to have all their toolbox components fully defined in their assemblies, and you can see the fasteners in this assembly have an underdefined symbol in front of them. An option is available to lock the rotation for all concentric mates with one click. Now all the fasteners in this assembly are fully defined, saving a great deal of time when compared to doing it individually. In SOLIDWORKS 2019, there is now an option to automatically lock the rotation of all new concentric mates to toolbox components upon insertion, saving even more time and keeping your assemblies fully defined and conforming to best practices. Exploded views are a great way to communicate exactly how assemblies come apart and go together. And in SOLIDWORKS 2019, creating and editing exploded views is even easier. A new rollback bar is available when working with exploded views. This new rollback bar works just like the rollback bar in the Feature Manager and can be dragged up and down the tree to help users visualize an explode sequence step by step. Notice that this exploded view has the end cap screws moving after the end cap is already exploded. To remedy the problem, explode steps can now be reordered directly in the Configuration Manager. As the rollback bar is dragged farther down the tree, we can see that the inner washer stack has not been exploded. As we edit the exploded view, the rollback bar remains in this position in the Property Manager, and any new explode steps are added above the rollback bar. Explode steps can now be named upon creation, eliminating the extra step of having to edit the name after the fact. You can clearly see that the new explode step has been added above the bar and is properly named. The rollback bar can be manipulated here in the Property Manager, and reordering explode steps is much more intuitive. Explode steps can now be suppressed as well as deleted, and this suppression is available outside of the Edit mode in the Configuration Manager. Creating exploded views can be very beneficial on drawings and for model-based definition, but nothing beats an animation. And now, SOLIDWORKS 2019 supports more video file formats. Flash, MKV, and MP4 formats can now be published directly from the Exploded View Animation Controller or with SOLIDWORKS Animator. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well then, an animation must be worth 10 times that. And with the new tools to work with exploded views in SOLIDWORKS 2019, creating this content is easier than ever.
So these are the few features that we have seen how the SOLIDWORKS will help you to handle all these areas, like creating animations very much easy inside SOLIDWORKS now. Not only that, handling toolbox components, locking their rotations and other areas. Now let's talk about some other areas like sharing your data with some other company or with some other vendors to who is basically designing some components for you. Say for example, if I'm designing a hoist crane, and my part is basically to design a complete system to lift and drag and for lifting system, and another one is designing the structures. design or understand how much load of my hoist is being applied on the structure and what should be movement. So I don't need to send him the entire data in its entire format. So like over here, you can see on the screen, this is my actual data, my proprietary data, and this is the data I need to share with him. So most of the time, what I need to do, I need to create a separate file. I need to remove each and every feature, try to create as simple as possible for him, so he can actually use this data over there to check whether inside its structure system, this system or my design is not interfering or hitting with each other. No. So in this particular case, what we are doing is we use a defeature tool. Previously, we have a defeature tool inside our system, but it was still containing lots of areas that is not getting fulfilled. So now in SolidWorks 2019, we have updated this tool far more in a better way. And now not only that, it can easily convert your complex assemblies into a very much simple design. So now let's move further to understand this.
Highly detailed production-ready components is something SolidWorks excels at, but not all this detail is required at higher-level assemblies. The defeature tool provides the capability to massively remove unnecessary detail to improve large assembly performance or to protect intellectual property. SolidWorks 2019 introduces a new silhouette option to help simplify an assembly based on the outlines of components and bodies. We'll start by selecting several components that we'd like to retain their original geometry. In other words, no simplification. A variety of simplification methods are available. For this selection, we'll choose no simplification to copy the geometry. As we add this group, SolidWorks splits the window and presents a preview of the simplification. The view orientation of the windows stay in sync to help visualize the progress. Next, we can use the new option to select identical components to grab all the rail wheels and all the studs. The cable and the motor end plate are selected, as well as the motor, which is a body. For this selection, we'll choose the cylinder method of simplification to really strip off all the detail. Next, we'll grab all the hex nuts in one go, as well as the bodies of the pivot hanger and the electrical control box. For these, the polygon outline method is used, which creates an extruded polygon that fits around the outline of the selected components. Finally, the drive motor will be simplified using the tight fit outline method. This will create an extruded body by using a tight outline of the selected components in multiple directions. Default planes or a face can be selected to help define the orientation of the outlines. Once satisfied with the simplification, the defeatured model can be saved to a new document with a link to the original, or component suppliers can upload directly to 3D Content Central to be shared on the web with millions of designers and engineers. This defeatured model is much better suited for the top-level assembly. Simplifying complex assemblies has never been easier than with the enhanced defeature tools in SolidWorks 2019. This tool will help users share their models and protect their intellectual property.
So in this defeature tool, we have seen like how we can massively defeature our assembly. How easily we can simplify our part. Now we can select the identical component in a single sketch click, simplified model in a reassembly in original condition, and associativity link are there inside my system. So it will help me to simplify my assembly and protect my intellectual property. Now, till now we have talked about performance. Now let us talk about attention to detail. So when we talk about attention to details, we need to understand all those small areas which need to be detailed when we are designing our heavy equipments. So for example, let us talk about structures. So we all know that SolidWorks provide a complete structure library inside all its three designing software, starting from standard, professional, and premium. So now there is one more thing we have introduced. This is an advanced weldment environment for creating a welding structure. So previously, when we need to design a structure, we need to use sketch as a basic condition in which our structure will run and get itself designed. Now in SolidWorks 2019, we use intersection planes, intersection points, intersection lines, surface, edge of the surface, and other things. So let us understand what is this new structure system is inside SolidWorks 2019 and how it will help us.
Weldments are a key feature of many designs, and SOLIDWORKS has long been an innovator in providing tools to create weldments, such as this structure to support the telescope and the Mauna Kea Spectroscopic Explorer. Let's take a look at how this structure can be created in SOLIDWORKS 2019. The definition for this new structure does not contain a 3D sketch. Instead, it's defined with much simpler surfaces, sketches, and planes to make it easy to define the layout of the structure. The new structure system is an advanced weldment environment that lets you create and modify structural members of different profiles in a single feature. Primary members are defined using 2D and 3D sketch segments, points, edges, reference planes, and surfaces. In this design, a window can be used to select the edges of the surfaces, which define 36 members without regard for member groups. Familiar weldment profiles are used to specify the weldment cross-section, and for this selection, a 10 by 10 square tube will be chosen. Just like that, 36 members have been created. In the structure system environment, members can have different profiles. In this case, the vertical members will be changed to 10-inch diameter round tubing. The web members will be defined using sketch segments, and they will be defined using 7-inch diameter round tubing. Secondary members run between primary members and are defined by selecting member pairs. In this case, the location for the new members will be defined by 2 support planes, and the chain option will be used to select the member pairs. As selections are made, new members are added between the pairs located at the support planes. As easy as that, another 12 members were added. At this stage, the members are defined, but they're not trimmed. When you finish adding the structural members, the corner management tool is presented so you can fine-tune the corner treatments. The simple corners will be set to body trim, so they get coped to the vertical members. For the complex corners, there are more options. Initially, each member is mitered to each other. For this corner, we want the horizontal members mitered to each other and the vertical member trimmed secondarily. To simplify the manufacturing impact, the vertical member should be trimmed flat, so it should be moved down to the planar trim box. For the next corner, we can see that the vertical tube has been automatically defined as a trim tool, and the horizontal members get body trimmed to it. The top corner will be defined the same as the first, where the vertical member will be planar trimmed to the mitered horizontal members. The same trims can be applied to the remaining corners of the structure to complete the corner management process. Finally, the 7-inch diameter web members can be patterned to complete the design. The new structure system feature provides an advanced weldment environment that lets you create and modify structural members of different profiles in a single feature with flexible corner management and trimming. This workflow makes it much easier to create complex structure systems without the need to create intricate 3D sketches.
With this, we understand the structure systems, more ways to concept our design intent, 2D and 3D sketch independency, different profile in a single feature, flexible and corner management system. So this will handle our very much tedious task of structures very much easily. So previously, when we have to do all these things, we all know we have to design sketch, we have to design lots of other conditions. But now in SOLIDWORKS 2019, all these things, all these tedious tasks is now handled by our structure systems. Now let us move forward. Let us try to understand about interference. Now, previously when we are working inside SOLIDWORKS, we know that the interference detection is only available in our assembly level components. So whenever I need to see an interference, I have to go inside assembly and check the interference. But what about part? What about structures? Say for example, as you can see over here on the screen, we have designed one structure system along with few solid parts. But sometime during this design, we never able to understand whether the structures are interfering with each other or not. All these types of things were there. So till 2018, we are not able to check the interference inside part level. But in 2019, now we can easily check the interference at our part level also. So it will give us very much good idea or a very much good area when we design anything inside part. It should be interference free when we put that same interference free part inside our assembly, so it will not create any issues. So now let us see how this feature is helping us.
Multibody part modeling is a standard method to create designs like this weldment, But to find body interferences, the part had to be placed in an assembly. Now, in SOLIDWORKS 2019, the interference detection tool is available in part mode. This can bring great insight into a multi-body part and is especially useful for weldments to verify that all members have been properly trimmed. Multi-body interference detection saves time by doing interference detection directly in part mode.
So, as you can see, the multi-body part interference is now there in our SolidWorks part area. So it will not only save our time, but it will save lots of errors, small errors and mistakes during our design. And we can check it before putting that part inside an assembly. Now, let's move forward. So there is one more feature which was there already introduced in 2018 version about tab and slots. So when we talk about tab and slot, till then we are only able to run a few conditions on the tab and slot. Now in SolidWorks 2019, we can run a unequal type of offset in tab and slot, in which if I need to decrease the gap from here as an offset or a gap from here as an offset, so I can do that also. Not only that, now I have a different type of corner option. So till 2018, I only have a sharp corner. Now in 2019, I have a fillet cornered, I have a chamfered corner, or I have a circular corner. So this will help me or my machine to understand the component and create the profile accordingly. So we all know the tab and slot feature is very much useful for those areas where we need to fix plate to plate. So if I have a horizontal plate and if I have a vertical plate, so if I need to fix both the plates, so in current condition, how we can do it, how we are doing it. We are either mark the line on my horizontal plate, and then on that line I will put my vertical plate, try to clamp it, and then just to ensure that my plate is properly placed on its location. So I will do small tack welds, then I will do the measurement, and after that I will do the final intermediate weld or a complete weld according to my need. But using this tab and slot feature will give me a COM type condition in which I'll be able to mate or locate my component from a horizontal plate to a vertical plate by using these types of conditions. So previously, if I need to do it, I need to actually create a tab, and then I need to create a slot for that tab, and then I need to create a drawing. But now in SolidWorks 2019 and 2018 onwards, we have a tab and slot feature which will help me to handle all these areas. So if just for the sake of example, if you can see, I have this U channel. Inside that U channel, I need to fit this plate. So now I can easily use a tab and slot feature. So according to my need, I can guide this vertical plate inside this U channel very much easily. So now let us move a bit more further. Now let us talk about user experience. So user experience is very much important in our case. So we need to understand there are lots of new functionality that we have upgraded in 2019. So if I talk about 2019, say just for a rough estimation, let me try to explain. So previously I've shown you area of assembly or a large assembly area. If I talk a simplified way, I have talked about assembly. So in assembly from 2015 to 19, we have updated around 33 new features. Not only 33 new features, we have updated around 17 new types of mating conditions. So you can see how much big updates we have done till 2015 to 19. If we talk about part level, I have completed the part level area. We have added around 32 new features and advancements which will help my part. These are the top features. If we talk about in a deep way, there are much more features, like more than 80 or 90 features per area. But these are the 32 top features that we have discussed about. So around 32 features are added inside part, and around 33 are in assembly, and 17 new types of mates we have added. Now let's talk about user experience. So till now we know that in our SolidWorks we have a very much new different type of user experience was there. So we have mouse gestures, we have shortcut keys, we have other areas. Now in 2019 we have even enhanced more user experience which will help you to handle your component or day-to-day condition inside assembly very much easily. Now let's try to understand that.
Introduces some great new capabilities that not only improve your user experience, but increase your daily productivity. Providing quick access to your designs, the Welcome page now lists up to 100 of your recently opened documents. Each document is displayed with its own preview, and the new Quick Filter can be used to refine the list by displaying any parts, assemblies, or drawings. A couple of modifications to the blue camera assembly are required to finish its design. Typing the word camera in the new Filter by Name dialog is now all that's necessary to find and open the desired assembly in a matter of seconds. Building relationships between features and parts is a powerful method of capturing design intent. SOLIDWORKS 2019 makes it even easier to view and manage external references. References can now be broken or locked when dynamically viewing parent-child relations from the Feature Manager. When using a top-down approach to design, assemblies can consist of many parts, each containing numerous external references. The references for an entire assembly can now be viewed and managed in a new interactive dialog box. Each component containing one or more references is listed, along with each individual feature, its status, and referenced entity. Simplifying things further, parts can be viewed independently by selecting the Isolate option. In this example, the rear baffle plate. As each reference is selected from the list, its related geometry is highlighted in the graphics area. The circular pattern is shown to be referencing the cylindrical face of the rear mount flange component. Instead, we want it to reference the outer face of the plate. Selecting the brake option removes the relation from the component pattern. Now the direction reference for the pattern can be redefined by simply editing the feature. SOLIDWORKS 2019 makes managing complex relations between features and parts easier than ever. One more modification is required to finish the design. The counterweight for the camera requires a distance of at least 50 mm of clearance between the flange and the body. To increase the overall distance, we'll reduce the thickness of the flange. Now in SOLIDWORKS 2019, the Measure tool can be accessed at any time, providing a seamless, uninterrupted workflow, whether you're modifying a dimension or editing a feature. Reducing the flange thickness to 4 mm ensures that the counterweight will now fit, and the design changes are complete. With these new capabilities, SOLIDWORKS 2019 makes your everyday user experience even more productive.
So in this, we have understand how the SOLIDWORKS user experience help us to handle our day-to-day issues in assembly, how we can break and add new relationships, how we can lock the relationships, how we can see the recently open 100 files, how we can filter the types and the conditions. So these types of things have helped us to handle our day-to-day working very much easily. As you can see, we can now use measure command live inside working when I need to change any sketch. So that was not there inside in 2018. Now it was there inside 2019. So let us now move further. So we've talked about that. We have talked about external references, how dynamically I can update my external references. I can change the interface. I can break lock the individual condition. I can view only relate parts. Not only that, I can use live measure tool between my commands. So previously it was not there. Now it was there. So it was very much easy for me to do any changes without any further issue. So when we talk about user experience, we talk about all these areas. So this is a great power and ease of use for my everyday's workflow. So it will help my day-to-day task becoming very much easy. So now let us talk about drawing. So every industry, I myself from a industrial background, so I know that concept of drawing is very much or the handling of a drawing is very much important inside an industry if you are releasing for a production or a GAUs or any purpose things. So it required lots of time, dedication, and clarity of this subject. So inside SolidWorks, we have a very much new type of functionality which will help user to create complex drawings very much easy without any issues. And it can not only that drawings, the user can create bill of materials. User is very much flexible. User can lock the views, unlock the views, and lock the updating of those views. So there are lots of different areas where we as a SolidWorks help user to do all these types of complex work very much easily. So let us see that now.
SolidWorks 2019 delivers powerful new productivity enhancements that make documenting your designs even faster. You can now create a slice section through the model at any location using the new Remove Section View command. Simply select two opposed model edges and the view is created perpendicular to the section line, eliminating the need to create any additional construction geometry. When manufacturing high-precision parts, detailed tolerances are critical to ensure that a high degree of accuracy is achieved. ISO tolerance modifying symbols and other text can now be added directly to dimensions and tolerances. Simply select a dimension, then use the new options available in the Property Manager to choose the desired modifier symbol for general or upper and lower limits. The resulting dimension contains all the necessary information required for high-precision manufacturing. Hole tables are a great way of displaying hole location and size information without having to use dimensions that would potentially make a drawing cluttered and difficult to interpret. SOLIDWORKS 2019 introduces new options that deliver even greater flexibility over the way holes are tagged. Reduced toolpath calculates the shortest distance to connect all holes, providing the most efficient order from a manufacturing perspective, and radial tags the holes in a radial pattern from the origin. In addition to tag order, tag type can now be manually defined, giving you total control over how holes are labelled. At any time, the tag for an individual hole or group can be changed with a simple right mouse button click over the cell, followed by assigning a prefix. These new options give you complete control over every aspect of a hole table's format and style. SOLIDWORKS' integrated design environment ensures that any changes to a model can be automatically propagated to its associated drawing. Now in SOLIDWORKS 2019, you can control the update of individual drawing views by simply picking one or more, then selecting the new Exclude from Automatic Update option in the Property Manager. With a plan view, section and its related detail views on the drawing sheet now excluded, we'll open the camera body part and increase the thickness of the rear flange to 13 mm. When switching back to the drawing, excluded views are highlighted with an orange hatched border and rebuild flags in the Feature Manager. When you are ready to update, just select one or more excluded views, followed by the new Update View option from the shortcut toolbar. With SOLIDWORKS 2019, it's now easier than ever to manage updates to large or complex drawings. SOLIDWORKS creates highly configurable bills of materials directly from your assembly designs. In addition to the information displayed in the table, for added transparency, each component can be easily identified by displaying a graphical preview. Now in SOLIDWORKS 2019, when saving a bill of materials to Microsoft Excel, these component previews can be included in the Excel spreadsheet. The graphical preview provides even greater clarity, reducing the risk of identifying parts incorrectly. These are some of the powerful new productivity enhancements in SOLIDWORKS drawings that will help you get your designs documented faster.
So these are some new features inside drawings. So when we talk about drawings from SolidWorks 2015 to SolidWorks 2019, we have added somewhere around 23 top new features, which I'm just showing you. In 2019, we have updated somewhere around 23 new features for a drawing area. So as we can see now, we have a new removed section type views are there. We have rename or renumber the tags of the holes. We can delay the individual view updates. So previously what happened is when you have created a component and it is a very much big complex drawing of say for around 2 or 3 pages, the moment I update any view or do any update inside my part level, what happens is it will automatically start updating my drawing. So during that drawing updation, it will take lots of time, lots of condition, and sometime what happen is drawing system shows error, or sometime it will take much more time, or sometime it will get itself crashed. System sometime get crashed because of this heavy view updation. Now in SolidWorks 2019, I can delay my individual view. So the moment if I update the drawing, I have an option in which if I need over here, I can exclude the views from automatic updates, or I can include all the views to the automatic update. It is not like कि अगर मैंने एक बार इसको ऑफ कर दिया तो मेरा जिंदगी हमेशा के लिए ऑफ रहेगा. No, that bidirectionality is always there. But if you want to lock some important views, you can lock them also. These are those views जिसके अंदर उन views का कोई reference नहीं होता, कुछ update नहीं होता. So मैं चाहूँ तो उन views को block कर सकता हूँ. तो अगर मैं देखने की कोशिश करूँ तो मेरे लिए इस view का update होना important था, because मेरी यहाँ पे thickness update हो रही है और यहाँ पर मेरी थिकनेस अपडेट हो चुकी है. बट इस व्यू के अंदर मेरी उसकी इंपॉर्टेंस नहीं थी, इस व्यू में उसकी इंपॉर्टेंस नहीं थी. सो इस टाइप के जो अनइम्पॉर्टेंट व्यू होते हैं मैं उनको लॉक कर सकता हूँ. Now, moving more inside BOMs. So now, not only in my SolidWorks BOM, I can see the component preview inside my BOM. अगर मैं उसी को ही आपका सेव करता हूँ Excel के अंदर, I can get the same component preview inside that Excel BOM. So it was very much easy for a person or a production man or a person who is purchasing all these components. Now he can easily identify, okay, which component is what. So these are the few functionality inside drawings. So it will not only increase my performance, but it will automatically increase my productivity also. When we talk about design ecosystem, we are talking about that area where we need to understand how I can now share my design with one person to another person, one point to another point. So when we talk about this, we always talk about e-drawings. E-drawing is a very much great tool, readily available in SolidWorks website. It's a free tool. Anybody can download and use it as a e-drawings basic. So any type of drawing that you have received from a SolidWorks, you can straightly open inside this environment, and you can not only open inside in this environment, you can actually revolve it, move it, rotate it into a 3D condition. So till now, what happening is, if somebody has to share the data from e-drawing to another person who is having a e-drawing, or he actually need to install another e-drawing tool to another system where he needs to send the data. Now in SolidWorks 2019, there is a functionality, or there is a one more thing that we have added, is we can now save the same e-drawing file into a 3D HTML document. So when we do that, it will help our user to open all these types of complex files inside their laptop. Not only inside their laptop, now you can easily open these types of 3D HTML file inside your mobile phone, tabs, notebooks, thin laptops, anything that support HTML format. Now you can easily open all these big configuration files. So let me show you how you can do it.
eDrawings is an excellent tool for viewing CAD models and now gets even more valuable for 2019. eDrawings now supports several new CAD file formats: Parasolid, Solid Edge, ACES, JT, and NX files are now supported for viewing, making eDrawings your go-to choice for CAD file viewing. Viewing configuration data has always been available for exported ePRT and eASM files. Now with eDrawings 2019, configuration data can be viewed for native SOLIDWORKS part and assembly files, saving the step of exporting the data to eDrawings format. Sharing CAD data from eDrawings is a great way to collaborate, and with the new web HTML output, eDrawings models can be shared in a new format that opens in any browser without the need for extensions or installation. Familiar tools are available, such as access to the component tree, and configurations that exist in a model can be displayed. A handy explode tool is available to see parts contained in an assembly, and sectioning allows better visualization of internal components. All of the eDrawings viewing tools are available, such as View Animation, Standard Views, and Model Display. Ambient occlusion can be turned on as well for added realism when viewing models. eDrawings gets a big boost. On the left is eDrawings 2018, and on the right, eDrawings 2019. As we rotate the observatory assembly in eDrawings 2018, you can notice that there's a bit of delay before the assembly catches up to the mouse. And you'll notice that some of the smaller details in the lower floors get removed. This removal of detail during rotation is done by design to help speed view manipulation, but comes at the expense of visual appeal. In eDrawings 2019, when rotating the same assembly, you can see that there is no noticeable delay, and the smaller details on the lower floors remain. All of the view manipulations feel immediate and effortless, and the same goes for component selection, providing a much better user experience when viewing very large assemblies. eDrawings 2019 extends its capabilities to view more CAD file types, offers better sharing through the new web HTML output, and provides a big performance boost when viewing large assemblies.
So, as you can see how the new things in eDrawings updates our new system. And not only that updates our new system, it will help us to it will help us to view any type of documents on our mobile, tab, thin laptop, notebooks, or a desktop without even having a e-trunk inside it. So these types of new functionality help our ecosystem or help our system to share our design with the configuration support, with the exploded support, with the other type of HTML areas. So which will help our system, which will help our ecosystem to share our design from one point to another point without any issues. So most of the time, every person these days is now carrying very much high-end mobile phones, a messaging application, and you can send this via WhatsApp also. And the person over there on the other hand who is receiving the WhatsApp can simply click on this file and open it inside open this assembly through WhatsApp and see the all things inside its phone. So it is done. So in this condition, so we have a more reason to make e-drawing to go to tool for in a CAD wing area. So now let us talk a bit about Treehouse. What is Treehouse? So Treehouse is a very much good tool to understand all the components that are used inside a single assembly. Not only to understand, sometimes we need to send a data to a person or we need to show a data to our management or to a top level management. Sometimes we show them a BOM, Excel based BOM. But at a higher level management, they don't understand what that BOM is saying, because that BOM is only containing what? That BOM is already containing a written numbers or a day or a displays or a descriptions or all these things. They don't have the proper, they don't have the picture. So Treehouse inside SolidWorks will basically enhance all those areas. So now when you present or send your data to those departments who are not into a technical, can understand what are the main assemblies, what are my component used inside that main assembly, how many components are there along with the picture, name, and part number. So previously what was there is we can only get that update through my part properties. Now in SolidWorks 2019 there is a bidirectionality in which I will update the part properties and send it back inside the my Treehouse update.
Does Treehouse 2019 deliver some fantastic new capabilities for creating and managing assembly structures? When viewing large assemblies that contain many branches, the new setting to control the display of file images for each node is a great way of maximizing the amount of screen area available. Using a new toggle in the options dialog box, file images can be hidden or shown, giving you more control over how your assemblies are displayed. Traditionally, Treehouse has always used a file name to identify each node in the structure. Now in Treehouse 2019, you can use any available custom property as the display name instead. The majority of parts in the turret hub assembly have been saved using a part number. Let's switch the display name to use the description property to make it even easier to identify each component in the structure. Adding new items to an assembly is quick and easy. A simple drag and drop is all that's required to add a new part to the turret axle subassembly. In Treehouse 2019, you can now create custom properties and apply values to new and pre-existing files, without having to open them in SolidWorks. This is yet another powerful way Treehouse helps you manage your critical design information. Exporting to Microsoft Excel is a great way of sharing assembly structure information outside of the design department. In Treehouse 2019, you can now include the component graphical preview images, which provide even greater clarity, reducing the risk of misidentifying parts. In SolidWorks 2019, Treehouse provides you with even greater flexibility when creating and managing assembly structures.
So as you can see how the Treehouse 2019 will help us to handle all these types of outputs. Not only that outputs, now I can simply drag and drop the component inside his. I have enhanced VUM output. I can update my user property inside it. So it is a very much great flexibility of creating and managing and sharing my file assembly structure. So these types of tools are basically used in those areas, as I already said, when you need to present your entire assembly to a management, or you need to present your entire assembly to that department which are not technical. But yes, using this tool with all these pictures and the conditions over there inside this information, and having the capability of VOM, you can now easily send your data from one department to another non-technical department, and they can easily understand how the things were there. So This is one small demonstration about the heavy industrial engineering area. Now I'm showing you the part level. Now I'm showing you a feature update from 2015 to 2019. So till now I've shown you the demonstration for 2019. Showing you the demonstration from 2015 to 2019 is a very much time-taking task, and showing you all those features won't give you the things, because in 2019 you will automatically get the update from 2015, 16, 17, and 18. So I've shown you those top latest update which was there in 2019, but now I have already simplified all these areas. So as I already told you earlier, at part level we have around 32 new features update inside our part level. So these all are those 32 top features that we have updated in our part level. And in our assembly level, we are talking about 33 new features along with 17 mating features. So all those features were there inside, now inside in my assembly. Not only that, I need to highlight one more thing. There is a new area that SolidWorks have introduced, is mysolidworks.com. So in mysolidworks.com, what you need to do is you need to simply create a login. It is an online classroom. So if your company is having any software like SolidWorks Standard Version or Premium, you can use that serial number to get yourself enrolled. Or if you don't have the serial number, you can get yourself enrolled as a student also. Inside this classroom, you will get many small exercise which will help you to understand your software or to resolve your issues of day-to-day things, small type of issue जिसके लिए आपको थोड़ा सा reference चाहिए हो. So all those types of things were they're inside mysolidworks.com. So I want you all to go inside mysolidworks.com and get yourself enrolled. Now, we talk about e-drawings from 2015 till here. We have a very much features are there, somewhere around 8 to 9 new features we have uploaded, including 3D HTML, which will help any person using any smartphone, smart devices to see the part in its configuration and its exploded view right there in or right inside its device, and he can understand very much clearly what that thing is all about. So when we talk about drawing, let's talk about SolidWorks drawing. So we have included around 23 new features inside SolidWorks drawing. For SolidWorks part costing, we have enrolled around 9 new features. So costing is a very much good tool. It comes available in SolidWorks Professional and SolidWorks Premium. In SolidWorks Professional, you will do the costing at part level, and in SolidWorks Premium, you will do the costing at assembly level. So what is costing all about? So if I'll tell you in a very much small summary, costing is a tool which will help you to estimate the cost of your part, including each and everything. So if your part is made from a sheet metal, so from a sheet metal, say when we start from a blank plate to a laser cutting or a tool-based cutting, and then went for a bending, then we moved towards forming and other areas. So all these things were there. All these types of small costs you can put inside in our costing tool. The moment when you design a sheet metal part and run from that costing area, that will give you the cost of that particular component. So in SolidWorks Premium, similar type of thing you will do inside for entire assembly. So previously in Professional, we will do a part level costing. In assembly, we will do a complete assembly level costing. So it is basically a rule based system. So all these rules you need to set inside in your complete system. So how much cost you are paying for your vendor to do a milling, how much cost you are paying your vendor for doing lathe applications or other things. So when you add all these costs, it will give you the assembly level costing of that component. Talk about SolidWorks Weldment. So inside SolidWorks Weldment, we are talking about 15 to 16 new features that we have added, including this structure systems, which will help you to create a complex type of structure right inside in SolidWorks very much easily. So with respect to this, I have completed my presentation. Okay, so with this, let me just end my webinar. Thank you all to join me.